welcome back. If it's your first time, welcome for the first time. Today, we're going to be checking out volumes 1 through 5 of Mobile Suit Gundam. The Origin. This is volume 1, called Activation, by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, if I've said that right, featuring the iconic RX 78-02 with some incredible artwork here that appears to be a mix of pencil, pen, watercolor, and more that I'm probably not artistic enough to understand. But when I originally saw these in a bookstore, I assumed that, like the name here, it was going to start and follow the plot of the Origin anime, or OVA, depending on how you watched it. But after digging into it a little bit, it seems, or it does, essentially cover both the show and Origin, which is just incredible. That's such a cool way to do it. And I think if you're into books, into manga, however you say it, this is for me personally. I'm really excited to use this as a way to re-experience the original series in a new way, through kind of a new eye, a new vision, and also just see some updated artwork, because while that original series is iconic and I am so incredibly thankful for it, it doesn't always hold up the best. I mean, if you're not into older anime, so I think for people that are just into manga, this could be a really cool way to experience a really great series. And maybe someday we'll get lucky enough that they'll remaster. Actually, thinking about it, I believe they are going to remaster it. What that means, we will find out, but I just remembered as I was saying that they are going to do some kind of remaster for that, so I very much look forward to that. Much like the Dragon Ball story, you have those first few arcs retold in like every form of media, so maybe we're on our way there with Gundam, and I think that'd be awesome. So the back here it began, it stirs once more. The epoch making initial season that set new standards of verisimilitude, that's a heck of a word, for televised sci-fi animation returns in comics form at the hand of one of the original creators. This definitive account, penned in our century, expands on the classic narrative with the same sense of purpose and verve that first lit up the screen more than 3 decades ago. Bonuses for this opening installment include an essay by perhaps the most celebrated of the influential series students. Cover design by Grace Liu, published by Vertical, printed in the USA. I believe they also have the just like normal version of these, but I wanted to get the hardcover because I think that just looks great. And I mean, you can't beat that hardcover sound and feel. But if we take a look at opening this guy up, you see here it kind of goes over how the intro of the series is, where it's just a peaceful life on a colony, and suddenly not so peaceful. But it covers how we're in space, why we're in space, and why this whole war started. I always love in these when they show the colored sections here, just because standard manga is all in black and white, and I think that's such a cool medium, such a cool way to do it. But it's like when you do get that splash of color, oh, it's just so cool. Like, I mean, look at that. They can use it to emphasize certain moments, and that just makes it such a cool medium. And I think that's a part of this that I also really like, is that rather than just having the colored portions in the beginning, they're scattered throughout. And that's really cool. That's just a awesome way to be reading, and then suddenly there's a vibrant splash of color that's just beautifully drawn. But alright, that is volume 1. We will set him over here. Volume 2. With our friend Amuro on the front. If this date is accurate, it appears as this was drawn in 2002. This is the second edition, titled Karma. It looks like Amuro is holding a doll or toy of some kind. On the back here, we have white base flying over a big, either fiery explosion or just a big plume of smoke. Reading the back here, it's a good book, very good actually, very good war comics, requiring no prior experience with anime or mecha or Gundam, just a well-made, old-fashioned war comic, full of thrills and spills and lucky breaks and narrow escapes and preening villains you'll love to hate and pig-headed heroes you may hate to love, and expert drawings by a master craftsman and hard, sturdy violence. Joe McCulloch, The Comics Journal. He said and. A lot in that. We need some more commas, maybe. But that appears as though there's a guest roundtable by Clamp. This one was also published by Vertical, but this one was printed in South Korea. Open it up. Take a look at some of the colored pages here. You have Char in his iconic Zaku 2 there. Amuro going from fighting grunts and just pure luck to fighting somebody very skilled and immediately realizing he is outmanned and overqualified or underqualified. You can see here, a classic, bright, just slapping the heck out of Amuro. We were just slapping kids in that original series. Just a different time. Child soldiers that have their ups and downs, and they're there to get beaten up when they don't want to. Goodness, ignore that. Okay. Golly, no matter where I turn on this, we're getting some interesting panels. Here's a good one. You can see, I believe that's Amuro's mother calling for him, but don't want to spoil too much. Just again, some incredible drawings here. So that is Volume 2. Here is Volume 3. I'm probably going to say incredible artwork every time, but again, some incredible artwork here. This is the Goof, which is just a goofy name for a suit, but just an iconic design. It's like the meaner looking brother of the Zaku, and that is of course what Rambaral, the title of this one. That is the suit that he pilots. Briefly. Spoiler. But you check out the inside of this one. Same type of thing. Covering the same bases. Going over the last couple. When I read this as just an American that reads some manga, some manga, some normal books, it's hard not to read it as Zeon, Glory Be To. But reading through these, I'll be better in no time. Just again, I mean, beautiful artwork. I encourage you, if you see these in a bookstore, to check them out and see them in person, because I can promise you the video doesn't do them justice. Here, looking like it's out of Dune. Amuro appears to be in the desert. The RX-78 is seemingly crashed, or is just laying in the sand, covered in sand. That does not look intentional to me. The back on this one says, "It's not often that I bother taking up space just to discuss the presentation of a book, but this is certainly one of Vertical's finest releases. Yasuhiko's work is just really strong throughout. Fights between mobile suits are exciting and manage to stay clear despite an impressive amount of detail. These releases deserve as much love as was put into them." By Joseph Luster of Otaku USA. Guest contributor was Shimoku Kyo. This one was also published by Vertical, printed in South Korea. So it seems like the only one that was printed in the USA was this first one down there, at least so far. They shifted over to South Korea after that first one. So that's the third one. Again, just covering the first kind of couple arcs of the show. Just maybe speeding it up a little bit, cleaning it up, even though the show was really well paced, but you rewatch it and you forget how fast things move. So here, Volume 4, we have the RX-78. I mean, just incredible drawing here in 2007. Just look at that. That is just crazy to me. Some insane talent. Fighting the black tri-stars here. You can tell because there's 1, 2, 3. 3 stars on their suit. And while I cannot remember what these suits are called, comment if you can remember. I'll probably look it up after and go, oh my goodness, how did I not remember that? But Amuro is fighting them and is very much outnumbered. This one is called Jaburo. Number 4. Got a big explosion there on the side. Beautiful, beautiful landscape here. Appears to be a coast up here. Lush green forest. A cliffside down here. the white base, looking very small. The back on this one, the fact that Yasuhiko never misses a beat and manages consistently to keep the visuals grounded in Gundam's universal century aesthetic, sometimes over stretches of pages with minimal dialogue, is nothing short of breathtaking. I personally relish the thought of having the rest of the volumes on my shelf. Me too. Vertical have done a masterful job. Anime UK News. Guest contributor Yokosaru Shibata. Published by Vertical, printed in South Korea. Once again, opening it back up here, covering the same bases as before. I like that they showed those in just like the black backed pages, so you can tell they're kind of in the intro, but they just cover different parts. And you open it up, and I mean, it's just, no matter what page you open up to, there's just some incredible drawings. And then when there is that burst of color, it's just incredible. It's really cool seeing in the show, and especially here too, how they go about showing these people seeing Earth for the first time as they grew up in colonies in space, without really ever having seen Earth. They were born there, and like the show says, they die there sometimes too. But just crazy. Just beautiful stuff, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Yeah. Really cool. Really, really cool stuff. I mean, just look at that. Yeah, it's just able to do stuff on this that that you can only do in this medium. And I think it looks so cool. So, being able to relive the show through these, I'm really excited. And you're able to actually relive 2 shows. Because once we get to number 5 here, as you saw towards the end of that one, they cover Char and Sayla. And like I thought at the beginning, when I got these, that it was just going to cover, or just going to start by covering the show. But instead, it actually goes all the way to Jiburo when they run into each other. And then they cut from there. You can see kind of talking. But then we go back to the events of Origin, the show, or the OVAs, depending on how you watched them. But suddenly we're back to Char as a kid and a young man, and you get to see those. So rather than having to watch the full series, they actually just cover pretty much all of it, from Char being a kid to his inception as the Red Comet in this book right here. So, kind of a cool way to not have to, I say not have to, but the series is incredible. I think it's just cool that they're able to tell it almost as like a side story in the grand scheme of things. And the artwork remains the same, because that was when I originally went through the show and was getting into Gundam. I watched the Origin first, and just some incredible looking animation and artwork there. And then you go back to the 70s, 80s series, and I feel like I was just a bit harder on it, because it's like you go from that beautiful animation to something that's like a little tougher to digest, but it was still just an incredible story. with some really interesting commentary on child soldiers and the horrors of war. But yeah, this one's really cool because it just covers it in just one thing here, and you just start to understand more of the background and the history as you're reading it without having to watch a separate series or anything. So this one, no real knowledge or understanding of the original MSG, which is Mobile Suit Gundam, the show, is needed. What follows are hundreds of pages of suspenseful war drama and sci-fi explosiveness, all of which is well and good. Seriously. Good, actually. This is an intensely fun sci-fi epic. But it's the visuals that you are truly getting this book for. That's a ton of story your eyes can look forward to. And as you've seen as we've gone through these, it really is just incredible artwork. As I said I was going to say 1,000 more times. But here you have the moon, the pale blue dot, and then I believe this is the passenger ship that Char swaps identities with a very similar looking man, as he used to be Casval Rendaikun, if I'm remembering that correctly. But then you took on the mantle and the name of Char Aznable. And the rest is history. And that's how we got our man right here. Once again, I encourage, if you see these in your local bookstore or anywhere, to stop and check through them or just flip through them, because they really are just incredible stuff. I mean, it's just such a beautifully illustrated book that a video is not going to do justice for, but I'm more than happy to take you on a tour through what I have. This was volumes 1 through 5. I have 4 more to show you in another video. But for right now, that's all. Thanks for stopping by. Look forward to seeing you again.